Welcome to Hancock's VMware Half Hour.
Okay, so we'll try and make this quick because I've got no coffee, I've got no soft drink, and in the lab today, although this isn't really lab actually, this is production. So I did think, as I've actually got to do this today, I thought, I know what, I'll just capture it as video. And what we're going to do, we're going to update a VMware vCenter Server 7 appliance. It's currently in production. And it addresses the fix that we're going to use, or the bug that, or the workaround, or the patch, or the upgrade that was released on the 17th September 2024. Was to address VMSA 2024-0019, which, if you actually basically look at some of the CVSS scores, they're off the Richter scale. They're about 9.8, 7.5 to 9.8. We don't generally rush like the penguins on an iceberg scenario. And if you don't know the penguins on the iceberg scenario, it's if you watch a Discovery Channel of all the penguins on an iceberg, and they sort of kind of sit there, and they sit there, and they sit there, and then you find one penguin basically jumps in, and then they all jump in. We generally like to leave, unless there's 0-day vulnerabilities, we generally like to leave the patches that come out from Microsoft and Broadcom, certainly 7 days or 14 days, really, to see what happens, to see what other users find. And of course, if you're currently in the VMware scene at the moment, you will probably know that the 8.0, 8.0.3b release that came out has actually caused a little bit of a problem and broken the vSphere web client, which there is a workaround at the moment, but Broadcom have not actually released an official patch at the moment. Done a couple of videos on upgrading 8.03a to 8.03b via RDU, and also a quick video on how you actually basically apply that workaround. I'll put them in the description. And don't forget to subscribe to these now that they are on YouTube as well. So subscribe there, or wherever you actually basically find the button. Without further ado, what we're going to do today, we're just going to go back and revisit. I had a little look back at these videos, and I think the one I could find was the 13th of June 2022 on how we update VMware vSphere 7.0 via VAMI. I've done a number of these on 8.0. It's exactly the same, really, for the VAMI interface. So we're currently at vCenter Server 7.0 Update 3R for Romeo, which is 7.03.02,000. And we're going to update to vCenter Server 7.0 Update 3S for Sierra. I could actually use another word there, but it's Sierra. So we're going to update to 3 Sierra. 3S for snake. We're going to follow this video that we've done before, really. And we'll put the release notes to this in the description as well. So I'm just going to disappear into a Horizon View connection, where we are sort of kind of VPN'd into the estate that we're going to do. So I'm hopefully hiding URLs and things. So again, belts and braces, we've already basically applied a snapshot to the server should things go terribly wrong. We have already advised our colleagues who also do basic administration that vCenter Server 7 will be down slightly for maintenance while we apply this patch. That includes me as well. We've already done a backup. I'm surprised that there's no locations that are saying there. It's obviously thinking about it. Anyway, so we've already done a backup. So we've got the snapshot, we've got the backup, and it's now telling me it's unable to connect to vCenter server. And I think I know why that is. Just one moment. Okay, so we're back. The VPN connection had dropped. I don't know why on this site. Even when I'm using the VPN connection, every now and again it just decides that it wants to drop out on me. Anyway, so just to recap, vCenter Server 7.0.3 Romeo. We're going to upgrade to 7.03 Sierra because of the CVEs that have been fixed on the 17th September 2024. We currently have a snapshot of the VMware vCenter Server 7 so that we can roll back should we need to. We've also basically got a backup of the appliance. And as you can see here in this video, it's 4.38 gigabyte to an NFS server, which is currently actually going to be replaced in this environment, and we're going to replace it with a NetApp. So if I've got some time and I can somehow fit that into my schedule, we may do a video of the NetApp installation as well to support VMware vSphere 7.0. And we're going to be using NFS. We're not going to be using iSCSI, we're going to be using NFS. And the final thing that we've also done as well is that we've also exported the configuration for our VDS, because this environment is running vSAN and it has a lot of distributed switches running across it. And the last thing that we want to be able to do is have a complete failure of VMware vCenter server, and we're going to get into a mess with the whole VDS. So we've also exported VDS as well. Done videos on all those, and I'll put those all in the description if you're unfamiliar with any of that. So last but not least, we're going to click update, and hopefully the VPN has not. Just going to click that again, update. Okay, that was the reason why before it came up and basically turned around and said couldn't talk to VMware vCenter server because the VPN connection had dropped. I'm VPN'd in as a workstation into this enterprise environment. Clearly the ESXi infrastructure and the VMware vCenter servers are not hanging off a VPN with access to the internet. You know, there are some very, very big pipes into this environment. So without further ado, I'm just going to click stage and install. There's no reason to stage it. I'm going to accept the agreement, followed by next. It's going to go off and it's going to run some pre-checks. Now, there are a number of reasons that we're also basically doing this update as well, because it's a bit of a prerequisite for the other bits and bobs that we're going to be doing. As you're probably aware, or you're not aware if you're using Skyline, it gets end of life or terminated on the 4th of October, which is about 3 days. I'm just going to basically click yes, I have a backup, and I'm going to click finish, and then that's actually going to start to stage. And I'll do a little bit of talk and then we'll put this on pause. October the 4th, Skyline is being terminated, sadly. If you go back and have a little look at my videos that I've done on Skyline and Roomcast, I'll put those in the description as well. There's going to be an awful lot of videos referred to in the description. My apologies. I always wondered why it was given away as a free service by VMware. Although it did actually assist them, because you could actually configure it to capture your logs and they would actually be uploaded onto your support calls as well. So it also basically made support's job easier, because they already had an eyeball into your environment and they could actually basically see from the logs and issues, etc. So if you escalated a support call into them, then they would already have the information that they could work from. Anyway, always wondered why it was free. I thought it was a fantastic piece of software that showed you the health of your environment. It almost had like a consultant on your shoulder. Anyway, it's being end of life. 4th of October, it's being terminated, and that's it. It's being replaced by a few things. If you're a VCF 5.2 customer or user, you will find the technology in that anyway. Otherwise, you can use vRealize Operations Manager or ARIA Operations Manager, and some of the functionality in findings will make its way into 8.18. But one of the prerequisites of having findings is you also need to have log insight as well. So if you're not already, if you have licenses for ARIA Operations Manager and Log Insight, you're going to need to deploy those two to be able to get less findings than what you had before for free in Skyline. And there is another product called SHD, Skyline Health Diagnostics, which may or may not provide some of the information as well. So if you've been using it for free and you don't have licenses for ARIA Operations Manager or Log Insight, then I'm afraid, well, you've lost that functionality. If you do have licenses for ARIA Operations Manager and Log Insight, you can deploy them and you can get similar information, which is, I think, under diagnostics and findings. But anyway, so reason to do this is I'm going to do some videos on the deployment of ARIA Operations Manager and Log Insight, and how to tie it all together, and have a little look at the Skyline findings in that product and compare it with the findings in the product which is about to be end of life on the 4th of October. So the next video will be a goodbye to Skyline, which I thought was a fantastic product, cloud-based, but sadly, obviously Broadcom has decided that it was costing them too much money. I sort of kind of feel sorry really for the people in support, because they're not going to have that eyeball into anybody's environment now. So that's going to make it challenging for them when they now come to look at support calls, because they're not going to have that information to hand like they did before. But I'm sure Broadcom has worked all that out. Anyway, so this is stopping the services now, and it's going to apply the update and it's going to start them all again. So with that, I'm just going to basically put this on pause and we'll come back and revisit when it's finished. I'm back. I think the gas strut in my chair is poorly, because it just seems to be sinking down, or I've eaten too many pies. Anyway, okay, so installation has succeeded. Installation is complete. So let's click close. Okay, so surprise, surprise, we're able to log back into the VAMI interface again, and the update has been completed, but we are just waiting for all the services to restart on VMware vCenter server, because it currently says no healthy upstream, as all the services are being started. I'm going to wait for all the services to be restarted, and then I'm going to do some checks just very quickly, see everything is working correctly. Then we'll remove the snapshot. And one of the things I do like to do, which is habit, is that I then go back into the VAMI interface and back up again, so that we've actually basically got a backup of the existing VMware vCenter server. So you can see in this screenshot here, version is 7.03.02100. So we have updated correctly now. So I'm just waiting for those services to start. So whilst I actually wait for those services to start, then I might as well basically just kick off another backup. Hopefully when this has been completed, our VMware vCenter server services will be all started again, and we'll be able to log back into and check our environment over and finally remove that snapshot. Excellent. Our VMware vCenter server is now available, and we have updated to 7.0.3S for Sierra. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me and watching this particular video. Please come back for more, and don't forget to subscribe there, or there. Okay, thanks so much for watching, and goodbye.